Hello once again, I welcome you to Marriage Without Tears channel. This is an auspicious time indeed to discuss this topic, just titled, Love is Not Enough. Indeed, there are serious issues that make a marriage thrive. There are things that make a marriage, that keep a marriage alive. There are those things, and if you don't have it in the marriage, then of course the marriage will die. It does not matter the level of love you may have one another, because I have seen so many couples, though they have an internal feeling of love to one another, yet they could no longer hold it together and they parted ways. I have seen divorcees who are still in love with their exes. So it's not just about love. I would like us to break it down really in this very particular production, and I want you to pay me ultimate attention. But before we go into that, I want you to look at the description part of this video. There are links I put down there that, of course, if you click on those links, it will take you to other places. We have our blog site, we have, our mesh store, we have so many things, that is part of this community. If you click on it, it will also take you to the free devotionals which we are sending out to members of this channel. And of course, we are also trying to build a community of Christian couples and families. So just go there, check it out. It will make a whole lot of difference in your own life as a couple. So let's come back to basics really. Why did I say that love is not enough? What can love do in a marriage? Of course, love can be the spark that sets up the fire of your relationship, but certainly you cannot build your relationship based on sparks and feelings. You can't build it. I took time and I read the scripture in Proverbs chapter 24, verses 3 and 4. It said, through wisdom a house is built. By understanding it is established. Through knowledge shall the chambers be filled with precious and pleasant riches. If you look at those things, it didn't mention love anywhere. It says wisdom, it says understanding, it says knowledge. These are what builds your home, not actually love. There are so many things. Love cannot put food on your table. It does not matter how much you love one another. I have seen so many couples who are deeply in love and yet they are eaten up by hunger and famine. And I can tell you, when there is continual hunger in the home, it can kill the best of marriages. So there are so many things love cannot do for us. That is why you must take a look at this production, because it will actually add value to you. Why I'm doing this is to enable you deepen the essence of your own relationship. Add some of the things I want to mention here so that your love will not only begin to thrive, but it will begin to flourish and your marriage will become glorious in the end. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. Now, somebody may ask me, what are those essential things that actually make a marriage successful? The very first one is commitment. Commitment is more important than love. Commitment is what makes a man and a woman who have never met before. Probably, maybe your aged mother or aged father took a young girl from the village and brought it to the city and said, that's your wife. And suddenly they began to live together and their marriage became successful. It is commitment. It's not love. Commitment says, I have burnt every exit point. Commitment says, I am tied to you no matter the circumstance. Commitment says, I will never give up on this relationship. Commitment says, this is my final bus stop, with you and with this relationship. Commitment says, I will never leave you, no matter whatever happens to us. That is commitment. That is what unites a home. That's what unites a couple together. It's commitment. Very, very important. The second thing that can keep a marriage flourishing is communication. When there is free flow of communication, when we can afford to be vulnerable to one another and open up to one another, even no matter what it is. Whether it is, no matter, even if it is a secret, that this partner is my partner for life. And this person is the only person who can protect my turf. Then you open up. Free flow of information. Not communicating with fear. I have seen wives who are afraid of their husbands. That's not a good home. A wife is supposed to respect her husband, not fear him. These are things that, I need you to go back to some of the earlier packages we did on communication. Go through it. You will enjoy it indeed. Communication is the center of every flourishing relationship. Of course, the third one that I may mention here is forgiveness. Once you are in a union of marriage, there are bound to be ups and downs. There are bound to be times when you disappoint one another. There are bound to be times when you are angry at one another. There are bound to be times when you speak some ugly words to one another. But the capacity to sit back, assimilate all these things, and yet allow the hurt to flow out of you quietly while keeping the relationship. Ensuring rather to give up your right to be even simply because you want to hold onto your spouse and be able to build on what you have. That is what forgiveness does. And if a couple does not have forgiveness, it does not matter the kind of love they have. If they don't have forgiveness, they will live in bitterness. So forgiveness is central. Every quality couple is a union of two great forgivers. Very, very important. Is at the heart of every growing marriage. The fourth thing I will mention here is, of course, vision. Vision is very important. I say it to the couple out there who don't have a corporate vision. Please, as a couple, find a corporate vision. Find something that you and your wife or you and your husband can work together as well. Because you are joint hires. The Bible calls you joint hires. I call you divine partners. I call you those whom God have chosen to partner together throughout life. Therefore, He called you for a particular purpose. That assignment He called you for, it can be ministry, it can be Christian activity, it can be business, it can be education, it can be agriculture, it can be anything under the sun. Whatever He has called you to do, partner together and do it. See one another as partners. Pursue a vision together. It will make all the difference. The more you pursue that vision, the more irrelevant things that may be, punching the holes of your mind, the more you begin to forget about them. It doesn't make meaning to you because you know that the person you are with is your lifetime partner. You know the person you are is your co-visionary. So that is what it is. When you are working as one with a partner, you hardly remember all the rubbish that is around you. It's very, very important, really. Vision. Find a corporate vision and pursue. The fifth one I will also say, and I want you to know that I'm not putting it in the order of priority. No. The fifth one I want to say could have been number one. I want you to put God at the center of your union. A whole lot of couples are doing it their own way. No, you cannot prosper in your marriage by your own understanding or by your own wisdom. No, there is a reason why God brought you together. And only God can tell you those reasons. And only God can impart on you those virtues that will make you work as one and be able also to fulfill that vision. So God must be at the center of your union. Any couple that does not have God at the center of their union, that relationship is like a donut. When you look at a donut, it's so fresh on the outside, but with a big hole on the inside. That is a relationship that has no God in it. So God must be part of your relationship. If you can do these 5 things, I tell you that your marriage will meet expectations to the glory of God. Even if you don't love one another at first and you are able to walk based on the 5 things I've mentioned here tonight, I can tell you that your marriage will meet expectations to the glory of God. Very, very important. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so immediately. There's a red button by my side. Once you click on it, get subscribed and be part of this awesome channel. Now, it takes me to the next level. What do successful couples do that possibly you are not doing? Number 1, successful couples learn to serve one another. Marriage is about service. Marriage is saying, I want to give my money, my skill, my whatever, my resources. I want to use it to make you better. I want to see you grow and become better than when we met. As you do that and your partner is also doing that unto you, gradually your marriage will be quickened and you begin to live a very flourishing life. Very, very important. Quality couples serve one another. They learn to serve one another. Quality couples also learn to be empathic to one another. They show compassion. They are empathic. They learn to put their feet in one another's shoes to know how he's feeling. Try to understand what is making the partner do or feel the way he or she is feeling. And then they try to find whatever they can do. There is a lot of compassion, a lot of empathy in a couple that are really thriving, in their marriage. Couples that are also thriving in their marriage pray for one another. I'm not just saying praying together. I'm saying taking out time and praying for your spouse. Have you done that recently? 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour. Pray for your spouse. You will see a whole lot of changes that will occur. Things that you never anticipated will begin to happen in your relationship. Pray for one another. God has this way of reaching out to your spouse and getting your spouse to do those things you are asking your spouse to do in the place of prayer. Couples that go the distance in marriage, they have a way of supporting one another. Visions, aspirations, missions in life. Find whatever your spouse is doing and become part of it. It's very, very important in marriage. Now, before I close this, I want to tell you what you can do this evening to give your marriage a boost. 1, pray for your spouse. I'm not just saying tomorrow. I'm not saying next week. I'm talking about now. As soon as you finish watching this very edition, please make it a time with God. Pray for your spouse. Take out 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Pray for him. Pray for her. Engage God concerning your spouse. It's very important. If you can do it this evening, it will add value to your relationship. Secondly, find whatever makes your husband or your wife happy and try as much as possible to be part of it. Render your skill, render your money, render your time, whatever resource you have that will help to support that vision. Be part of it, and you see the magic it will do in your relationship. And of course, thirdly, create a quality time whereby you can always sit with your spouse and communicate. Be able to say things from the depth of your heart, how you feel, what is going on, the challenges you are having, and what you are hoping to achieve. Whatever is in your heart, that learn to communicate. Because when communication is no longer in a marriage, that marriage dies a natural death. So learn to communicate regularly. Very, very, very important. Don't let your marriage die because of starvation in the area of communication. I look forward to seeing you next week, my dear friend. But before you check out, look at that description side, the table. Look at it. You will see so many links I put there. Click on it. You will receive devotionals. You will receive all manner of materials that will, encourage you as you begin to build a wonderful marriage and home. Very important. Don't forget it. And of course, by the time we come next week, I want to see your comments in some of the things I mentioned here. I want us to be communicative as far as this channel is concerned. If you check very well, I have not been on this page for some time now because of some other commitments. But I look forward to having your comments even in the next session. May God bless you.